So, remember how I found all those schematics in the future? Well, when I was finding all those schematics, I was thinking to myself, I'll bet there's some stuff I can craft, maybe even craft some really good stuff. And if you've noticed, my armor is now a little different. That's because you're not only able to craft like whole armors, but you can craft like just the arms of an armor set or the legs. So I crafted the hunter arms and the hunter legs, and I was able to add it onto my current armor, which is why it looks the way it does now with the extra armor here on the shoulders, on the arms, and on the legs there. Also, I have a new dagger. And it is better than any dagger that I have, including that other one that I picked up in the future. Let me show it to you. I named it Sting. Partly because I remember that was the blade named in Lord of the Rings, but also, you know. But anyway, look at this. 216 DPS. And I was able to craft it with a lot of the different things that I have to give it the 84 damage, plus extra constitution, heal on kill, and extra strength. So I actually don't have, I wasn't able to equip a rune, or maybe I can, I haven't checked yet. But yeah, it's better than Snakeblade and Bleeder Souls. In fact, let me check real quick, see if I can modify it at all with like a, no, it doesn't look like I have any upgrades or runes that I can actually equip to it, which is kind of a shame. And I don't think I can further, no, well see, no, here's what here's what I equipped. The hunter arms and hunter legs. Okay, so that was being able to modify it. So yeah, I've got some pretty powerful stuff now, and I was able to craft a couple other things for companions. Iron Bull has now an armor set that puts black war paint all over his chest and his arms, which is awesome. So I figured let's go around and talk to everybody, see if anyone has anything new to talk about before we do the next main story mission. Blackwall?
There was never going to be an easy answer to the mage dynamic.
Nah, probably not.
What you did for the mages took courage. You gave them a chance. Everyone deserves one. I'm here.
Alright, that's it. Okay. Iron Bull did disapprove, so let's see what he wants to say about it.
So, that Tevinter guy sent you into the future?
Yep. Oh gosh, no. It was incredible.
The things magic can do are fascinating.
Disapproved of that. Whoops.
Anyway, I hope our new friends have what it takes to close the breach. Damn thing gives me a headache just looking at it. How's it going?
Nope, nothing. That's all, huh? I gotta be careful. He's not as fascinated by it as I am. Oh. Some mage is talking with Cassandra.
And what are we supposed to do, exactly?
What you always do. Complain.
We've already spoken with Commander Cullen. No one listens. We want better quarters.
Oh my goodness.
We want the Templars kept at a distance. And some respect for...
This is not the Circle. You mages are our allies, not our wards. Act like it.
How are we supposed to...
Deal with it.
Oh, wow. Put him in his place. Deal with it. Huh.
It never ends, evidently.
Is that a problem?
Is there an issue with the mages? Can I help?
The mages are here as equals. They need to get used to what that means. It is your doing, after all. You created this alliance.
I hope. I did my best.
I had to think on my feet, and I did what I could.
Oh. I do sound like I'm blaming you, don't I?
Huh.
I don't disapprove. In fact, you did well. You made a decision when it needed to be made. And here we are. I wish I could say this was my doing.
Flatterer.
You're flattering me.
I'm not. This always happens. Nobody ever takes my meaning.
You should see your face.
I'm thinking less flattering things now. Let's hope the breach has your sense of humor.
Oh, I hope it does. That was funny. Even the way he laughed though was kind of funny.
Yes.
Oh, nothing else. Okay.
Another
time, yes. Cullen, you got anything you want to say?
The mages are ready to approach the breach. I pray this will be enough to close it.
Give them a chance, Cullen.
I know you're worried about having the mages here. Give them a chance to prove themselves.
I'm not questioning their ability or their intentions, but we cannot ignore the risks. I will not endanger the alliance you've created. We need their help. Any precautions taken will be to ensure the safety of our people and the mages themselves. Nothing more.
Huh, okay. Anything I should know?
Is there anything I should know?
I'm glad to have the charges on our side. Bull's men are professionals, despite evidence to the contrary.
That's all for now.
Okay. Lisette. You're a Templar. Do you have anything to say?
Oh. We cannot stay here.
Why not?
Because we're Templars.
What does that even mean anymore? That we declare our independence and march off to some hold and do nothing?
Better that than stay here with this Inquisition.
Hey.
You're awfully quick to dismiss the people who saved your life, Matrin.
Matrin? Wait a minute. Wasn't that the name of the Templar who was with the enchanter? I thought it was. Huh.
Word is that the mages will be joining us here in Haven. I hope you've chosen your allies wisely, Harold.
I hope so too. Huh.
I will talk to you later.
Walk in the Maker's grace.
I already talked to her about all those things. Okay. And I can notice there's a few more mages around camp now than there was before.
And you've heard nothing of this Elder One before, in any of your investigations?
Nothing. I'm sorry.
No, it's taken all of us by surprise. We must... I don't know. He compromised the rebel mages, and is likely responsible for the disappearance of the Templars.
And we know nothing about him.
We will soon enough.
Huh. Still, nothing new in these houses. No, for a second I thought that was the guy I talked to earlier. Nope, it was not. Man, construction on these things is coming along slowly. What?
The Herald of Andraste is going to close the breach, sir.
Not a moment too soon. This little town is filled to bursting. We need to clear out of here and find some place the Inquisition has room to grow.
Huh. Aye, we must find a place for room to grow. I didn't know we got people from the UK. I think it's Scott. I don't want to insult anyone from any European viewers. I don't want to say, oh, you sound Scottish, and then they go, that's not a Scottish accent. That's that's an accent from this other country. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to do that. Varric?
The Mage Rebellion joins the Inquisition. I've got to admit that's a twist I didn't see coming.
Huh.
One thing you saw in the future worries me. I mean, it was all bad. But Red Lyrium and Ferelden, infecting people and growing out of them, that's bad.
Yeah, I know you hate it.
Finding more of it really punches a hole in my Red Lyrium at the temple was a coincidence theory.
How fast do you think it spreads?
How long does it take for Red Lyrium to grow? How fast can it spread?
It took years to infect people in Kirkwall, but no one there was actually ingesting the stuff. This Elder One managed to take the worst thing I can think of and make it worse. That's cynical.
That's scary. Don't worry, Varric. I'll take care of it.
The Inquisition has the numbers to track down all this lyrium and destroy it.
I hope so. I don't want to think about what happens if it starts a plague. I've got people trying to find out where the red stuff came from. I think maybe we should make that a priority. But that's enough doom and gloom.
Huh.
You just won a big victory for the Inquisition. What are you going to do to celebrate?
Huh. I say let's have a party.
That's a good point. We should celebrate. A banquet. Something like a banquet.
Huh.
Word to Josephine, and I bet she could arrange anything.
Mm-hmm.
Things should be calm around here for at least the next hour. Take a moment to enjoy it. If the world's about to end, I'm sure the Seeker will let us know. Need something?
Can I ask him anything more about Red Lyrium?
I'll tell
Nope,
you what I can.
nothing. What about personal questions?
Need something? You want to
Nope,
talk about...
nothing. And Hawk?
Need something? That's
Nope, nothing.
common...
It's like once you ask him all those things, it's like there's pretty much nothing else to talk to him about, which disappointing for me.
Got the door again, Flisser. Don't know how it keeps breaking.
Well, that's mages all over. So many robes, I bet all of Ferelden lost their curtains. I'll just be the other side of Haven, just in case.
They're here to help us. You don't like mages?
Do you have a problem with our new allies? With mages?
No problem with mages. I mean, you know some that are all right. My problem is magic. If mages sat on their hands, everything would be fine. I mean, yay, freedom. Great for them. Over there, away from me.
Wow. Aren't you a ray of sunshine?
I'll be back if I need you.
Go on.
I'm sorry, I'm not really that fond of Sarah. I just don't really find her that appealing, or, you know. Hello, Solus.
So we have gained the mages. Excellent. They should be able to seal the breach. You are certain you experienced time travel. Could it have been an illusion? A trick of the Fade?
Huh. Dorian is certain.
Dorian was sure. Impossible as it seems.
What an amazing gift. It is vital the Inquisition succeed to avoid the future you witness.
Huh, I saw you there.
I'm surprised you're not more interested in your own future.
I know enough. If that future happened, then I, and Cassandra, Cullen and the rest, failed to stop this Elder One. Speaking of which, you should ready yourself.
For?
This Elder One. You have now interfered with his plans twice. Once at the Temple of Sacred Ashes, and now again at Redcliffe. A being who aspires to godhood is unlikely to ignore such an affront.
Huh.
Hello.
Nope, nothing else. Alright. Huh. Dorian. Oh, here's Dorian.
The Inquisition supports free mages. What's next? Elves running Halamsharal? Cows milking farmers?
I'll think of something.
Give me time. I'm sure I'll surprise you.
I suspect that's untrue. Unless you strip yourself
Whoa.
naked and allow the Chantry to flog you into repentance.
No.
That would surprise me. I do wonder if you've considered what this support of yours will do. For mages in general, I mean. The Inquisition is seen as an authority. You've given southern mages license to, well, be like mages back home.
Huh. Oh gosh, no. Is that so terrible?
What would be wrong with that exactly?
Nothing, at first. Thing is, the Imperium was once just like the Sun. Templars, proper circles, all that rot. Then it changed, by inches.
Huh.
Not that this is reason to oppress us. Still, my homeland should be a cautionary tale, not a source of inspiration.
Huh. Tell me more about yourself, Dorian.
It occurs to me that I barely know anything about you.
Beyond my being a mage from Tevinter, you mean?
Yeah, pretty much.
Beyond that,
yeah.
Yes.
And beyond my being so charming and well-dressed.
Oh, gosh.
Which is obvious to anyone.
If you say so.
You certainly think highly of yourself.
It's true. I could be more modest, but I'd be lying. Now, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Parvis, a product of generations of careful breeding and the repository of its hopes and dreams. Naturally, I despised it all. The lies, the scheming, the illusions of supremacy. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it?
Huh.
Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
Huh. Is your family angry with you?
Why would your family be upset with your choices?
Because I rejected their idyllic plan.
Ah.
If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl from a powerful family. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place in the magisterium.
Huh.
I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see.
Huh. You don't... Careful breeding?
What did you mean by generations of careful breeding?
The great families of Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and promote the rest. My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Huh. Never mind that they loathed each other. They wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the envy of the Imperium. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
Oh, wow. I take it, do you not like Tevinter?
I'm getting the impression you don't care much for your homeland.
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. There's so much potential. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because pretending is easier. We pretend the Qunari can be beaten. We pretend that we're superior to everyone, even our own people. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
Why do you care?
It just seems so much of what you say about the Imperium is entirely negative.
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have many virtues. We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas truly began, remember? We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the modern ages. And despite appearances, we care deeply about everything. We have no reserve, not in war and not in love. If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
So why not go back?
Why remain with the Inquisition? Why not go back to Tevinter?
I'm not exactly welcome back.
Oh, did they throw him out?
It matters. I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. It adds to my charm. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my homeland back 1,000 years. I'm sure some magisters would disagree, but that's why we killed them.
Alright, that's enough for now on that.
I think I've heard enough.
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
Tell me more about the Imperium.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite fascinated by it. Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true. The cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
Oh, that's funny. Well, that one's actually true, but they didn't have wings. Wow, look at this. He is a huge source of information about... If you ever want to know more about the truth of the Tevinter Imperium, here you go. He's got tons of information about it. Is blood magic as common in the Imperium as I've heard?
Just how often is blood magic used there?
Oh, not at all.
What?
Not at all.
Come on.
That's what any magister would tell
you. Okay.
They'd be convincingly offended by the notion, too. Of course, what people call blood magic here and what we consider blood magic are two different things.
Really? Well, what do you call it?
What's considered actual blood magic in Tevinter?
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. Using your own blood or that of a willing participant, what's the harm? The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much power. And what if you need more? You always need more. That's where we get into sacrifices and demon summoning. None of that is done. Not officially. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. Real blood magic can give you an edge, a leg up against your opponents. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power, to put it bluntly.
Wow. So there's no Templar intervention in there? In the Imperium?
The Templars would object.
I imagine they did, long ago. Once, their investigations might have been sincere. Then their balls were cut off. Too inconvenient. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. And most of them probably innocent.
Interesting. No one disagrees?
There must be some mages who oppose this.
Of course. I do. And I'm not entirely alone. Occasionally, there'll be a magister who makes noise. And then the reform talk begins. All very patriotic. Meanwhile, that magister will be quietly shunned. Chances are, surprise, it's learned he was a Maleficar all along. Most learn to keep quiet. Me? I enjoy the allure of pariahhood.
So the Imperium has a chantry?
There's an Imperial chantry, isn't there? With its own divine?
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you?
The Black Divine?
If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face. Like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to you.
He said him. The Black Divine?
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true Divine.
Huh.
The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender.
Ah.
It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous.
Really? What disagreement is that?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste was a mortal woman, a maid.
Ah.
Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah blah blah.
Blah blah blah.
We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see.
Huh.
So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
Ah. And your divine is male?
So the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes.
Huh.
Don't think there aren't a number of female majesties who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done.
Ah, yes.
Excellent reasoning.
Oh, yes. Such excellent reasoning. Are you religious?
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
The big question.
Huh.
It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian.
Huh.
I simply do not believe in the Chantry.
Huh.
It is a relic, whether back home or here in the south. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
Probably not. Huh. I can either agree with him about the Chantry being a relic, or just say others might object, yeah, or just say, the Chantry has its place. I'll just say others might object.
I'm not surprised. It's not an opinion you should share.
You did ask.
Yes, I did.
I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
Aww.
In me.
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong.
Huh.
You are what we needed most at the moment we needed it. That's what they will say in ages to come.
Huh. I'm surprised you think that.
You don't seem like the religious sort, to be honest.
If you define religious as sitting in a chantry and listening to a blithering hen tell you how to live, then no. If you define it as believing in the possibility that something larger than yourself exists, then yes, by all means. The world is bigger than I, even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe, but I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
Wow. That is a very interesting perspective that he just put forward there. Very interesting that what he just said about how the Maker doesn't need me to believe in him, but I do, and the thought that no one out there is watching out for all of us is way too frightening. Wow. Huh. That's not only a big put up probably for his stance on a divine creator, but also the idea of not believing in the Maker at all is way too frightening. Very interesting. Is it really that is the Chantry here and there really that different?
Is the Imperial Chantry so different from ours?
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business.
Huh.
Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
So you do have circles?
There are circles of magi in the Imperium?
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce the magisterium's
so
the Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
So they only get involved if it serves like political reasons.
Let me ask you something else.
So many questions.
Huh. Do you think Tevinter could be an ally?
I'm wondering if the Imperium would be a useful ally.
I think you'd be more concerned whether or not they'd support the Venatori. They won't. At least, not officially. They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. Secretly, many Magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
Huh. Is that smart of them?
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago. We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy for far too long." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
Huh. But we're really not.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen.
Huh.
I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
Yeah, maybe. By the way, I'm sure you and Iron Bull are going to get along very well. Considering the history between the Tevinter and the Qunari. So, what about slavery?
Anyone who talks about the Imperium mentions slavery.
Yeah.
It's the center of the slave trade.
Ah, that is true.
And did you have slaves?
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well.
Honestly, I never thought much about it until I came south. Back home, it's how it is. Slaves are everywhere. You don't question it. I'm not even certain many slaves do.
Are you saying they like it?
You think slaves like it that way? Don't be ridiculous.
I didn't say they like it. It's all most of them know.
In the south, you have alienages, slums, both human and elven. The desperate have no way out. Back home, a poor man can sell himself. As a slave, he could have a position of respect, comfort, and could even support a family. Some slaves are treated...
That sounds more like a servant than a slave.
Do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
Well, the way you describe that, you know, the way that some of them can have opportunities to do so, it sounds more like they get paid to do that. Like they're servants, and it's their job instead of being slaves. Treated poorly?
Is that what you call it? Treated poorly?
Abuse heaped upon those without power isn't limited to Tevinter, my friend. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. I never thought about it until I saw how different it was here. But I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe that every tale of Tevinter excess is the norm.
So do the mages truly rule there? Like, are they the ones that are really in charge?
It seems strange that an entire empire would be ruled by mages.
I find it strange that your mages don't rule anything at all. Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is that mages don't rule. The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the Magisterium?
What is the Magisterium, exactly?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate.
Imperial Senate?
Whoa! A seat on.
Do you have an emperor?
Are split among the circles
Does he have unlimited power?
And the major families. All majors now. It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
Sorry if I'm talking over the dialogue, but that's what the subtitles are for. So what are you then? You said you were just a mage and not part of the Magisterium.
If you're not a Magister, then what do you call?
Yeah, is there no special title for where you are?
I'm an Altus.
Altus.
Which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you ask.
And what exactly is an Altus?
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class.
Oh,
those
upper class.
Families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of the old gods.
Oh.
If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later, lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soferati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
Very interesting, the kind of how Dorian is kind of changing the perspective of Tevinter and everything about it. Where we've heard so many negative things about it, but Dorian is really like telling us the truth about some of these things. Where he's like, Yeah, they exaggerate a lot of those things. Don't believe all those things. But mages do rule, from what I heard.
If
anyway.
It's a fiction. That means mages do rule.
Yeah.
Then.
Yes and no.
Huh.
Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal.
Higher than others
If you're
in
not
ranking,
from the right
a
family,
hierarchy.
chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you're even a slave.
Huh.
The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Is that true?
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically, the potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen.
Huh. Like
More
with Hawk.
importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origin. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
And when I said, like Hawk, I was thinking in terms of how Hawk's father was a mage, and there could, you know, it was possible that Hawk could have been born either with magical talent or not, depending on how much of his father's or her father's blood Hawk got. Is that bad?
Being a quaestor isn't a good thing.
Not a good thing?
I imagine the average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
And what about the Archon?
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happens. Even so, he gets to appoint new magisters, which means all the families vie madly for his favor. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
But let me ask you something else.
Of course.
Oh, that's it.
That's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
Have you seen Alexius?
Have you gone to see Alexius yet? He's in the cells.
Oh.
Not yet, no. I saw him before they locked him up. He looked despondent, broken. Not the man I remember, nor the one I want to. I suppose the Inquisition will judge him eventually. I wonder if there's any chance they'll show him mercy. He hardly deserves it, but for Felix's sake. I can't help hoping there's something left of the man I once knew.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was fascinating. The amount of information that we just got from Dorian about the Tevinter Imperium was wonderful. A lot of answers and a lot of information about the Imperium that we never really got before, because we really never knew someone in the first two games who really was a resident of the Imperium. Yeah, guys like Fenris and 2, he had had his experience in the Tevinter Imperium because he was a slave there for Daenerys, who was a magister, but that was pretty much the extent of it from what I recall. But we never really had a party member who was an actual mage from the Tevinter who has pretty much lived there his whole life and was pretty much able to answer a lot of questions that we've had about Tevinter. That was a great well of information that he just provided. That was fantastic. So that ran a little long, yeah, that conversation, but I thought it was really beneficial, in case not only for me, but for any one of you who have ever wondered some of those things about the Tevinter Imperium. So, when we come back, we're going to keep going around and see if anyone else has anything to talk about, like Leliana. Maybe we'll go down to the cells and talk to Alexius. And then we'll probably pursue the next story mission. Stay tuned!